Hello and welcome, everyone. I am Jo Worthy, and we are here today with the wonderful Gigi Lindros. Welcome, Gigi.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited.
Well, I want to congratulate you. You are one of the authors in this anthology book, Rising into Greatness, Stories from Inspiring and Courageous Women. So congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
what a joy, again, to have, had this opportunity for you to be in this incredible collective energy within the group with all the other authors. And you know how I feel. I love working with you, and I did say, and I often say, you're one of the few women, we're both, I'm your client and you're my client, and it
Yeah.
actually works. And we've known each other for over 10 years now. So we've really witnessed each other's growth personally and professionally. In actual fact, I was interviewing Antonietta before, and I've known her a similar time in the same sort of communities that we met in Melbourne. And what a
Yes.
journey it's been, and how incredible that we've got to witness each other's journeys. And for you to be in this book, I'm so proud of you. And I just want
Thank
to
you.
thank you and congratulate you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Gigi's actually, this is the second time, and I think you're going to talk about that the second time you've been in the Worthy Women Movement's anthology book. So because you were in, I haven't done one this year. I've decided to do two, and this one that Rising into Greatness has just been published, and we're launching in Sydney this Saturday, and then there's a few other launch parties that are happening for the individual authors around Australia. So it's really, really exciting.
I
So
know.
I want to ask you, but before I do, because I know that I often go off into tangents, I'm going to ask you a few questions. But before I do that, I want to read your bio. So
Okay.
anyone listening gets a little bit more of an understanding about you, Gigi. So Gigi, and I love her bio, Gigi is a recovering people pleaser, living with imposter syndrome with an inner mean girl dialogue playing out for most of her adult life. She is also the founder of Gigi Gem, where she designs powerful websites for entrepreneurial women to promote and grow their business. And Gigi actually does my websites, and she's done them for quite a few years. So thank you, Gigi. Gigi believes that curiosity, connection, and creativity do magic in people's lives. I agree. These things have been her driving force and have taken her on many adventures through the years. Among other things, she has chatted to the Duke of Edinburgh, the late Queen of England's husband, whilst jogging. It was obviously in London, was it?
No, in Windsor.
Oh, in Windsor.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Opened a 90-seater sushi restaurant in the north of Sweden and hosted a Viking feast in Melbourne to honor her heritage. She's worked as a travel agent and moved around the world with her family 3 times.
Mhm.
This is Gigi's second time being a collaborative author with the Worthy Women Movement. And what a joy it's been to have you in both projects. It's now her mission to keep becoming more visible. Oh, darling. Oh, yes, it's okay. I just realized, I'm really sorry. I had this terrible thought that I hadn't hit record, but I have.
Oh, you have.
I'm having a little bit of a moment. Senior moment. No, I shouldn't say that. A little bit of a vague moment. It's now, let me just rewind what I. Oh my goodness, am I recording this? Yes,
Yeah.
it's now her mission to become more visible, stretching herself out of her comfort zone. And as has become more loving and her self-belief has increased, so has her ability to promote herself and offer all her magic to the women who want beautiful web pages. She's now not only Gigi, the founder of Gigi Gem, she's also a writer and a speaker, and she cannot wait to rise further and help more incredible women to become more visible online. And how amazing is that, that's your mission, is to help women online, but you're actually living that mission yourself by really stepping into your courage a second time as an author, as a co-author, and you've spoken on my stages. Well, when I say my stages, the Worthy Women Movement
Well, it was.
stages.
Yeah.
And you're such a beautiful storyteller. And your chapter is called Find Your Magic Within. And I love that. And I love your chapter. So tell us, anyone who's listening, why did you want to become an author?
There is something that has been since I was little. I always made up stories and I always been writing, but I've never seen myself as an author because of what was in the bio, that I've always pushed myself back a little bit with my thoughts and how I presented myself. And so I haven't had the courage to actually do it. And I just felt it was time. I just wanted to see the potential coming through and I thought, when I'm getting up to 60, if I'm not doing it now with you, where I feel very supported, I'm never going to do it. And I know I will lay on that deathbed and regret that I didn't try or didn't have, to experience it, really.
And the interesting thing is, Gigi, as a little girl, you would sit around at your summer house in Sweden with your family and you would tell stories. Like
Yes.
you were this natural storyteller. So it's like, to me, writing goes hand in hand with story, because that's what writing is. It's often just storytelling, unless you're writing like facts and figures. It's storytelling, and you're so good at that. And I know in your bio, you talk about your Viking feast in Melbourne, and you did some storytelling that night. Now, I wasn't at that event, but some of the people I know, and a very good friend of mine was there, and they all raved about that event and how then I realized how incredible of a storyteller you were. And of course, as I've got to work with you over the years, and also, you know, your last chapter in the book and now this chapter in the book, you are a natural storyteller. So I love the fact that you've used writing to really rise into your greatness and become more visible. So congratulations to you, because I know
Thank you.
it was totally out of your comfort zone at
Oh,
times.
God, yeah. Oh,
I
God, yeah.
remember you speaking on the stage at the last Women Rise conference. And, you know, you did such an incredible job. I was so proud of you. And I know that was March of this year. My goodness, so much has
I
happened.
know it was this year. It was.
It's like, oh my goodness, it was 2024, just one of the many projects that I helped instigate and create. But seeing you on that stage and the way that, and people, you were one of actually the women's in that room favorite speaker. And, you know, that was your first time that you spoke up on stage, and women loved you because you have got this natural ability. And I really want you to own that.
Thank you.
And now that you're a co-author in 2 books, you've spoken on the stage, and I hope that really does, that you continue. And I'm here to be one of your best cheerleaders and cheer you on.
I know. You're very good at that. But the thing is, I must say, actually, because, sorry, I interrupted, but because
please do.
you said something just a minute ago, it's gone out of my head now. Oh, no, you said just own that and like that you were good on the stage. And that I can actually feel it now. I can kind of own it now and go, that was good for my ability. Like it could be things that I've done better, but I was happy with it. I did it, and people enjoyed it. And I would never have been able, actually, you could have said this to me 2 years ago. I would have done the speaking. You would have said to me, own it, Gigi, you were really good. I would have gone, thank you, but I would not have felt it. And now I can feel it, which is like the link between my heart and my actually brain, or it's linked. It wasn't linked before. Yeah.
And that is so amazing that you can actually feel that, because words, great.
Yeah, it's like,
when you actually really embody it and really feel it.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Well,
it
that
is.
makes me so
it's
happy
amazing
to hear you say that, because, and I could feel your, it's hard to feel being, feel being that pride, but I could actually feel it within your energy that you did feel proud of yourself. It was actually evident to me, and that is incredible. Like, and I know the year before you were going to come to that event and you just weren't ready, and you said no, and you backed out. And the second time you go, I'm going to do this. And you did it, and you did it so beautifully. So go you, because you know that the movement, and through the work that I do, I'm so passionate about women rising in their visibility and their creativity. And you're a beautiful example of being able to step into your courage, get up on stage, write chapters in books, and just go for it.
Yeah.
and stop those people-pleasing tendencies.
Oh, thank God. They pop up. As always,
Yes.
we have triggers, but it's a
Yes.
totally different level of it now.
Yes,
It-
yes.
yeah.
And the powerful thing is you've got an awareness about it as
Yes.
well.
Mhm.
And it's amazing how common it is for particularly women. I'm sure that
Yeah.
men have people-pleasing tendencies as well, but you know, you predominantly work with females. I predominantly work with females, and I only actually work with females. You predominantly work with
Yeah.
females, and it's so common that
Yeah.
women are either still in that,
Yeah.
or they're coming out of it, or they've completely, like, I think you get to a certain age. I often say when you get to 50,
Yeah.
it's like a lot of things start to change. I know
It's no time to like, don't mess around anymore. It's like,
yeah, it's like, why are we wasting so much energy on people
Yeah.
wanting to like us when we don't even really align with in the first place? It's one of my famous, well, not famous,
Yeah, I know it's
one
one
of
of
my
your,
regular quotes that I say, because it's like, I spent so much time, and I know that you have too, wanting to be liked and accepted,
yeah.
and really with some people that we're not even really aligning with anyway, that they're not our people.
No.
And I think we get this enormous freedom to be who
Yes.
we really are when we stop worrying. And I think it's certainly an age thing, but it's also an awareness and a new consciousness, I think, within us that we hopefully we get with as we grow older, we grow wiser, hopefully.
Yeah. But we'll see when we
And
meet,
we're both
when we meet at the end.
and we've both had a very significant birthday in October, and we're the same age. So we had a very significant birthday. And you get to our age, and it's like, I am who I am.
Yeah.
You either like me or you don't.
Yeah.
And that's so freeing. And yes, we get days, like sometimes I think, oh, that was a bit of a people-pleasing moment, Joe. You're still in that, you know, like I've come full circle and there's come a long way. And I think that you have too. But I get it when you go, well, most of the time, because there's
Yeah.
little fragments and little lessons that come up to go, just to remind us. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how has the process of writing your chapter made you grow as a woman, as a businesswoman, for you personally? What did you want to say about that?
The writing was, I shouldn't say easy, because it wasn't. When we started the project, I was, you know, when you sit down, we're supposed to do 5 minutes of writing. I didn't get anything on the paper. I've always been like that. It had to be in a special, what should we say, feeling of it. I just
Energy.
Energy is the word. But when I started to write, it's actually summarizing. It is like with anything else. When you write and you speak that out loud, it's like you confirming it to yourself.
Yes.
So when I'm writing it, I start to go, oh, okay, and I read down the chapter so many times, but it's like, okay, this is good, and then da, 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 da. So it's actually cemented. Is that the word? Cemented.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. The journey I've done, and how when I was writing it, I realized I'm actually not that person anymore.
No.
I'm actually this person, and it's so cool. So it's absolutely, you write the chapter, depending on what you're writing. We were writing about courage, things that we lived ourselves in this book, Rising into Greatness. So it depends what you're writing about, but I think everyone can probably relate a little bit to that you don't actually see the growth until you, for me, when I wrote it down or spoke it, then it's like, shit, I did this. And I'm actually over that. I'm someone else. I'm someone else. I'm not there anymore, stuck in that crap.
I just think you're just, I don't think you're someone else. I just think you're a newer improved version of who you're meant to be.
That's true.
Without
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
that other.
I'm not someone else. I'm still the same person, but I
beautiful
believe in myself in a totally different, I back myself up totally differently, which
so
is.
It's been really quite a healing journey for you as well. And quite, it's brought this, so the writing's brought not only the healing, but an awareness, a deep awareness as to how far you've come as well in your life and the lessons that you've learned.
Yeah.
I must say, Find Your Magic Within, with you started to write this chapter in a very magical place. It was actually at your summer house when you went back to Sweden. And I'm going to quote you at the very start of your chapter on page 47. It's just so beautiful and nurturing to be immersed in Mother Nature. I feel safe and connected to all the souls that have been here, including the people who came before me. This includes my mum and dad, as well as my ancestors from lifetimes ago. So you were in that beautiful energy when that inspired you, because you know, I know there are times you, like you said, you have to be in the right energy. You can't just go pick up a pen and write for 5 minutes. And you were in that beautiful energy where you used to sit around with your family and write tell stories, and now you're writing stories in that same energy.
It's the same energy, and it was so
incredible.
important. I knew it was going to happen, so it was no point for me to push anything. I knew when I get there, it will sort itself out.
And you said that.
Yeah.
And that was the good thing about this project too, that each author had their own individual timeline. Yes, there were deadlines, but there were very, you know, loose deadlines to begin with. You had a lot of scope. And you said, Jo, when I go to Sweden, I'm going to write my chapter. And you did.
Yeah.
And you certainly did.
Yeah.
So absolutely incredible. And it's like when I'm reading it, I can feel that energy in the pages.
Yes. And that's what I wanted to do. I kind of wanted to link the north of the globe together with the south.
Yeah. And there's something special. Yeah, there's something special about the way you write, where you take the reader right to that energy of where you were when you wrote it.
Yeah.
And it's also, you know, I talk about it, and I was speaking a lot about energy this week because I've been interviewing you all the authors, all the fabulous authors. And it's like when you hold this book, and we said this before we hit record, that there's this energy in this book that is very pure and really heartfelt. And I talk about that in words, but I actually genuinely feel it. And so, you know, so are the women, the authors that are receiving this book for the first time, they can actually feel it.
Yeah.
And it is a beautiful collection of just not your story, but 9 other authors that are also so, you know, inspiring.
Yeah.
Getting back to your chapter. So how have you found the support of the community? And, you know, have you found, like, you know, through the Worthy Women movement, have you found it valuable? And how did you find being part of an anthology as well? Because it's a real group. I mean, you work individually to write your chapter, but there's this beautiful collective group energy as well, which I find incredible. But I'd just like to hear your perspective and how supportive you found it.
It is a funny thing, because it's like you write on your own and you do your own thing, but you know that you got the people here. They're like here or wherever you want to put them.
They've got your back, even if
they got your back.
Yeah.
And everyone is so loving and like not judgmental. You don't feel that judgmental at all. It's a really kind-hearted group, and that's what Worthy Women movement is about as well. Is the support and the growth, and obviously you are the backbone of all of it, which is fantastic. So yeah, I think I couldn't have, there might be a book on my own somewhere down the line, but I'm glad I'm doing it with other people, because it's, or with other authors, because it's like a celebration in it as well.
Absolutely. And that's how I felt. And, you know, like I've been in other anthology books.
Yeah.
And I'm a solo author, as you know. And and this is my second one that I've helped create, anthology book. And it's just an incredible energy to be in that group collective when you're actually, you know, I actually quoted this yesterday with one of the other authors. It's not like magic happens when women come together. It doesn't just happen like that. Magic happens when you're in this beautiful high vibrational collective energy where it's just naturally supportive and there's no judgment, and you are celebrating each other. And even if it's energetically, you feel it. Yeah. And that is powerful. And that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
That is so, and that's why I'm so passionate about anthology books.
Yeah, because it is lovely.
And I also felt like I wanted to fill the gap. So I hope that you felt that. I mean, because I've been in a few others where you just don't get that support. And then when you publish your chapter, it's sort of like, see you later. Well, that's where you want to be actually promoting yourself and becoming more visible, because you are a published author. I don't want women to come in and just publish their chapter and forget about it. I want to utilize that. So this is actually really leading into the next question. How valuable have you found this project in regards to your business?
Yes, for me, as when you read my bio, being a people pleaser with an imposter syndrome and an inner mean girl voice is not a good combination, especially being seen and heard. So just by healing those, and it's not just the writing in the book, it's the work I've done with you in the past as well.
Yes.
That's led up to that point, but it's helped a lot, of course. But that to kind of tone those 3 heavy blockages, to tone them down and just bring up some courage and shine, or whatever you want to call it, personality, made that I can speak totally different now to people. And I got a different, I'm sure there is a different energy around me,
Yes,
just when I speak about what I do or whatever. But
there is.
yeah, so
I can feel it.
yeah, so it helped tremendously, because otherwise I still would have been in the closet, I was going to say, but that's not the right word. I
I
am
know what you mean.
husband. Yeah,
You're much more out there to be seen and heard, and
yeah,
feeling comfortable with being able to do that.
yeah. So
You
it's
have
a
an
really
inter-
good way.
I like it. You have an interesting term in your book, and you say that's why I say ditch the bitch.
Yeah,
Ditch that bitch, actually. It's on page
yeah,
51, which was that inner mean girl within you. And you
yes,
say, today, truly, I believe that this is the single best thing I've done for my self-worth. It has changed me to no longer have Miss Bitch taking center stage in my life.
yeah,
This has come about because I'm in a better place where I'm able to love myself and be brave enough to back myself up when I need to change any part of my life that's not working for me anymore. My
yeah.
people-pleasing tendencies and fear of missing out has also improved. Basically, I trust myself more, and I don't need people's approval anymore.
Hallelujah.
That hallelujah, just that part in
Yeah,
itself is worth celebrating. That's
yeah,
incredible, because
yeah.
I know it's been this big journey. And I also want to say, because you struggled thinking, what have I got to share? Like, I didn't
Oh,
have a traumatic upbringing. I wasn't
I
abused, and
have
I,
no story.
and
Yeah,
it's like, but people want to hear your story
yeah.
because
I'm
it
like,
was magic.
why? Why?
Because
Why?
people,
Yeah,
like, not everybody has a dysfunctional upbringing, and not everybody has this massive trauma. That doesn't mean you don't have your challenges. You've had your
yeah,
challenges of low self-worth and low self-love and people pleasing and imposter syndrome. But
yeah,
you still questioned whether that was enough and
yeah,
inspiring enough to write about and speak about. And oh my goodness, I find it very refreshing. Not, you still had your challenges, but that you had this beautiful, magical childhood. And people want to know that. They want to
yeah.
actually feel the energy of being in this gorgeous forest, in the Mother Nature, sharing
Mm.
stories around the campfire, so
Naked.
to
No.
speak. But then you still had those issues. It doesn't mean that you've had a traumatic upbringing. It's very common to be the people pleaser, to be to feel like the imposter and to
Yeah.
question yourself. So I think it's extremely inspiring, and people want to hear about it. And I think you're now starting to realize, because you've been
Yeah, I'm starting to realize I'm on the beginning of it, but I believe that I got a story. I got that's
I believe I have a story. Can I have that in writing and signed?
yeah, I can. I can send that to you for Christmas.
That's a celebration in itself, like, because I'm in
Correct. Yeah.
with you the last 10 years, and we did have some resonance with each other in regards to the people pleasing
Yes.
and the imposter syndrome, and it did.
Yeah.
But the great thing, what I loved about your courage, is that you spoke very openly about it. You speak about that, ditching the bitch, and you speak
Yeah.
about,
Oh,
the
oh.
FOMO, the afraid of missing out, and the imposter syndrome. Because
Mm.
when knowledge is power. So when you have this awareness, that's when you can change it, and that's what you've really consciously worked on.
Yeah.
And then through your writing and your speaking, it really, really helped you to, in the Worthy Women movement talk, rise into your greatness. And whatever
Yeah.
that means to individual people, it's an individual journey. But for you, it's really stopping or being aware or reducing greatly your people pleasing, your imposter syndrome, and ditching that bitch, really.
Yeah. No, it's true. And the thing is, when it's not an alignment between, like, yeah, it's not what you feel in your heart. You feel that, oh, I want to be this supportive person, I want to be this kind of woman, I want to do, or be courageous, I want to do adventurous things.
Yeah.
And then you're not doing it because you have fear of all these different things. You feel like you're not authentic.
That's right.
And
It's the fear of judgment that stops
yeah,
people from
it's so
doing
much
that.
fear. It's just bloody fear. We
And
have to
it just
flip
wastes
it, flip the fear.
Yes,
I
flip the
couldn't even
fear.
flip. Yeah, I couldn't even flip all of them at the same time because it was too many of them. So I started, it was so overwhelming. So I just started to flip one at a time. And eventually I got still working on it, but I'm getting there, which is nice.
That's really, that's very valuable what you just said. It can become overwhelming if you try and do everything at once. And it's flipping one at a time, which is really, really great advice.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to actually quote at the end of your chapter. Remember that self-love is the remedy for most things as you give yourself permission to chart your own course of rising into your greatness. Sprinkle some magic within yourself, as you are enough.
Yes.
How beautiful is that? So
Yeah.
if just to finish up, beautiful Gigi, if you were, and you're a very wise woman, but if you were to think of one thing that you want to tell, really, your real gem, share some wisdom, one thing to anyone listening to this, what would it be?
Well, that would be, excuse me. Sorry. That
That's
would
okay.
be that to love yourself doesn't need to be such a big job. You can do it in very small steps. And
Yes.
those small steps will eventually feel like a bigger step for you inside.
Yeah, that's really great advice. And like you said before, flip the fear and flip one at a time. It's sort of
Yeah.
a similar sort of advice. A very, very wise woman. And thank you for sharing your incredible story, your chapter in Rising into Greatness, which is now available. And we're launching it officially in Sydney on the weekend. And we've got a few
Yes.
other book launches around Australia. And anyone who's a contact of a friend, family, colleague, client of Gigi's, you can contact Gigi and she'll have her own copies that that she will sign and send to you. They'll also be available on Amazon on the 3rd of December at a super duper price, including the ebook. So very, very excited to have you as an author in this Rising into Greatness anthology, and well done again, and congratulations, Gigi. And thank you so much for your time today.
And thank you.
Thank you, Gigi.